Right now, as you watch this, the best-selling vehicle in the entire country is a Ford Ranger. Not the best-selling ute, the best-selling anything. More Rangers roll out of dealer lots than any car, any SUV, anything. It is the default. If you walk onto a lot in this country and say, "I want a ute," the bloke points you at a Ranger before you finish the sentence. And I'll tell you something that'll save some of you a very expensive mistake. A lot of mechanics, the blokes who actually have to fix these things, would not spend their own money on the current one. Not because it's a bad ute. It isn't. It's a brilliant thing to drive. But because of what's underneath it and what it costs when it goes wrong. Because the Ranger is carrying a recall that can stall the engine without warning. It's got an engine the trade quietly watches for a failure that starts with the oil and ends with a new motor. And it is, more than almost anything else out there, the ute people are financing right up to the hilt. Which means when one of those big bills lands, it lands on someone who's already stretched. So today, I'll make the honest case for the ute I'd buy instead of a Ranger. And I'll be fair to the Ranger too, because it genuinely wins a few things. Stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly which one makes sense for you, and which year and engine to dodge if you buy the Ford anyway. I'm Greg. No dealer, no sponsor, no badge I'm loyal to. Everything I'd tell you across the counter is in my Car Buyer's Bible. Scan the QR on screen. Let's get into it. Now, before the Ranger Army melts the comments, I'm going to give the Ford its due first, because it earns the sales. It's not the number one ute in the country by accident. Here's what the Ranger genuinely wins. It is the best dual cab to drive, full stop. That 3-litre V6 diesel is a strong, smooth, properly gutsy engine. It will tow, it will overtake, and it feels a class above most of what it's parked next to. The cabin is the nicest in the segment, the tech is the best, and it drives more like a big SUV than a work truck, which is exactly what most buyers now want. There is a Ford dealer in every town, parts are everywhere, and it holds its money well at resale. If what you want is the best driving, best equipped ute on the market, and you'll trade it in every few years while it's still under warranty, honestly, buy the Ranger and enjoy it. It's a genuinely good thing. But best to drive and best to own for the long haul are two very different sentences. And the moment you buy one on autopilot, because it's the popular one, because everyone's got one, you stop asking the question that actually matters, which is, what happens to this thing at 180,000 kilometres out of warranty when I'm the one holding the bill? So let's talk about that, because this is where the Ranger gets nervous. Start with the V6, the very engine I just praised. In May of last year, Ford issued a recall on the 3-litre V6 Ranger and Everest, built between 2022 and 2025, more than 13,000 vehicles. And it's not a trim rattle. Here is the fault, in plain English. A camshaft sprocket inside the engine can fracture. And when it lets go, the engine can stall, lose all power without warning. On the best-selling vehicle in the country. Now, credit where it's due, Ford owned it, and they're fixing it free at a dealer, which is exactly how it should work. But think about what that means for you as a used buyer. If you're looking at a V6 Ranger from that window, you do not hand over a cent until you have proof, in writing, that recall has been carried out. Check the build date, check the VIN. Assume nothing. And it's not just the V6. The little 2-litre bi-turbo, the 4-cylinder in a lot of ranges, is not in that recall, but it has its own reputation in my trade, and it is a quieter, nastier one. It is a small, hard-working twin-turbo engine being asked to haul 3.5 tonne, and the trade sees oil starvation failures on them, the kind where the oil supply cannot keep up, a bearing goes, and the engine is gone with it. Not everyone, not by a long way, but enough that when someone rolls in on a used 2-litre bi-turbo with no service history, my first question is always the same. Can you prove every oil change happened on time? Because if you cannot, on that engine, I would walk. Now here is the part that ties it together, and it is the part the showroom never says out loud. Both of those are 5-figure repairs when they happen out of warranty. A new engine, or an engine rebuild on a modern common rail diesel, is $15,000 to $20,000. Easy. And who is carrying that risk? The Ranger is the ute most people in this country are financing to the absolute limit, with 7-year loans, big monthly payments, stretched thin. So the bloke most likely to cop a $20,000 engine bill is very often the bloke least able to absorb it. That's not a knock on the Ford's engineering. It's a warning about the maths you're signing up for. A brilliant, complex ute financed to the hilt, with a couple of expensive ways to go wrong. So here's the one I'd actually buy instead. And if you saw my Hilux video, you already know the name. The Isuzu D-Max. And I know, Greg, that thing's slower and plainer. It's not a patch on the Ranger to drive. You're right, it is. And I don't care. And here's why. Isuzu builds truck engines, proper commercial diesels, built to work for a living and not complain. The 3-litre in the D-Max makes about 140 kilowatts against the Ranger's grunty V6. So on paper, and up a big hill with a van on the back, the Ford walks away from it. But that D-Max engine is the tortoise in the fable. It's simpler. It's understressed. There's less clever gear bolted to it, waiting to fail. And the whole trade knows it. The D-Max is regarded as one of the more reliable, longer-lasting utes you can buy, precisely because it doesn't try to be the fastest. Mechanics pull these apart at 300,000 kilometres and they're clean inside. And look at the money, because this is where it really stops being close. The D-Max is cheaper to buy. It starts in the mid-30s of thousands of dollars and tops out around $67,000 against a Ranger that runs past $90,000 for the hot ones. It's cheaper to service and cheaper to run over time. And it comes with a 6-year, 150,000 kilometre warranty against the Ranger's 5-year warranty. So you're paying less upfront, less to keep it on the road, you're covered a year longer, and the engine underneath is the one least likely to hand you a 5-figure surprise. For a bloke who's keeping his ute and working it, that maths is very hard to argue with. Now I can hear the comeback already, because it's the Ranger crowd's best card. But Greg, the Ranger holds its value better, so over 5 years it might actually cost you less to own. And that's a fair shot, so let me answer it straight. Yes, the Ranger's resale is strong, stronger than the D-Max's. But resale is only a saving if two things are true. You actually sell it, and nothing expensive breaks while you own it. Here's the problem with leaning on resale on a Ranger. The whole risk we just talked about, the recall engine, the oil starvation engine, the 5-figure bill, all of that lands on the used ones, out of warranty, at exactly the age you would be selling. A ute that needs a $20,000 engine doesn't have good resale. It has a fire sale. So the resale argument quietly assumes the very failure you're trying to avoid never happens. On the D-Max, you're not betting on that. You're not hoping the engine holds long enough to cash out. You're buying the one that just keeps going. Resale is a number for people who leave in 3 years with everything still working. Longevity is a number for people who stay. Decide which one you are before you sign. And I'll tell you what genuinely keeps the D-Max on this list. It's not the brochure, it's what rolls through my workshop. I see these things come in at 300,000 or 400,000 kilometres, still on the original engine, still pulling a trailer, the owner in for nothing more than oil and filters. That's the number that matters. Not the 0 to 100, not the size of the screen. The number on the odometer when the thing finally gives up, and how little it cost you to get there. But I promised I'd be fair, and I meant it. So here's where the Ranger genuinely beats the D-Max. No argument. It's more powerful. It's more refined. It's nicer inside. It's better on the road and better to live with day to day. And the tech is a generation ahead. If your priority is enjoying the drive, and you're the kind of buyer who stays under warranty and trades before the big bills ever land, the Ranger is the better ute for you, and I won't pretend otherwise. This isn't the Ranger is junk, it's the Ranger is a race car and the D-Max is a workhorse, and you need to be honest about which one your life actually needs. So how do you shop it? If you want the tough, cheap to own, keep it forever ute, buy the D-Max, the 3 litre, keep the servicing up, done. If you genuinely want the Ranger for the drive, then buy it with your eyes open. Get that V6 camshaft recall confirmed, done in writing. Demand a full stamp service history on any 2 litre bi-turbo. And if you are buying older, the 5-cylinder 3.2 litre is the engine the trade trusts most. Buy the right one and look after it, and it will be fine. Buy the wrong one on the badge and the popularity, and you are rolling the dice on a 5-figure bill. Here's where I land. The Ford Ranger is Australia's favourite ute, and it earns a lot of that. It is the best one to drive, and that's not nothing. But it's also the one carrying a stall the engine recall, a couple of engines the trade watches nervously, and it's the ute most people are financing right to the edge. The D-Max won't win a drag race or a beauty contest. It's slower, it's plainer, and it's proud of it. But it's simpler, it's tougher, it's cheaper to buy and to run, it's warranted longer, and it's far less likely to bankrupt you at 180,000 kilometres. So buy the Ranger to drive it, buy the D-Max to own it. That's the honest difference, and only you know which one you actually need. And do me a favour, drop the highest kilometre ute you've ever owned in the comments. The model, the engine, and the number on the clock. I read everyone, and fair warning, I'll argue with a few of you. And if this saved you from a 5-figure mistake, my full buyer's guide is on screen. Scan the QR and it's yours. I'm Greg. Buy the ute that suits your life, not the one everyone told you to buy. And if a mechanic giving it to you straight is worth something to you, you know what to do with that subscribe button. Look after yourselves.